Hi guys, welcome to Developers Book. This is Yoganand. Here you will find some insightful tips for software development in Java and other guides and in-depth discussions here. Whether you are a beginner or experienced guys looking out for any videos on YouTube for REST APIs or development process or any insightful tips or some any other things, this might help you guys who are starting with the REST APIs or something. Yeah, this might help you guys. Yeah. But before getting started, like we need to know like what is the agenda of today's video. Today we'll create a simple REST API in Spring Boot, in Java Spring Boot, and we'll know like how to create it, and we'll know from scratch like how to create a REST API from scratch using Spring Initializer, and how to test that API in Postman as well. Yeah, we'll know how to do it. Yeah. Okay. So let us know like what is REST API first, so that I have a diagram here, so that it can explain, it can tell the story, right? Yeah. Yeah, representational. What is a REST? What is REST? REST is an like REST is a representational state transfer, which is nothing but when a client requests uh, the resource from a server, we are transferring the object and we are sending the state of an object, not the object. Here this thing we need to note here. Here we are sending the state of an object, representation state. We are sending the state of an object to the client. We can send that in many formats, like we can the commonly used things are JSON or XML formats. uh, yeah, here we'll work with the JSON thing, like how to work with the JSON thing and how to create a REST API first and all. We'll look into it. For example, like what is REST API? Like what is the thing? Like what is the need of that? We'll know that whenever there is a client, we have mobile phones nowadays, right? So whenever we go to, like we wanna get some weather data or something from Chrome, when we'll go to Chrome and just search the uh, name of the city or something. Suppose we want to know like what is the weather of the Bangalore, we'll just search it and we'll get the weather of the Bangalore. Weather of the like what is the current weather, whether it is 32 degrees Celsius or 38 degrees Celsius, we'll get that things, right? So here what is happening, our browser is talking with the client, our browser is called client, and it is talking with the weather provider servers. So this is what in the backend happens. This happens with the APIs, application program interfaces. Like this happens, it acts as a mediator between the client and the resource server. So what happens is when the client sends a request to the server, and then it checks out with the resources which is located in the servers, and we'll get that data which we requested in the request body APIs. We'll get that response according to that request. So here we'll look with the like commonly used get methods of APIs or request methods are get, post, put, create. Get will get the resource, post will create the new resource, put will update the resource which is already present in the server, and create sorry, this one is delete. Delete one, delete. Yeah, this one will delete the resource. So these are some common HTTP methods over there. We'll look on to the URL first, like how the URL works. Like URL is nothing but the endpoint of the API. Like this is called endpoint, API endpoint. So HTTP is the method, and localhost, if you are running now we are running our application in the local server, right? So we'll get the localhost. Port will be the default. This Spring Boot application will run on Tomcat server, so the default port will be 8080, and we are creating the endpoint API slash users. The default one is API, which tells that this resource is an API resource, and users, like this is the actual resource, users resource. So we'll get into it later, like how to create a get request, post request, put request, and everything will get to know in the incoming thing. Now we'll set up for the now we'll set up Spring Boot project first. Yeah, using Spring Initializer to generate a new Spring Boot project. First we need to generate a new Spring Boot project using Spring Initializer. Let me go into that. So this is start.spring.io. Here we have this is the we can click on it. We can type start.spring.io. Will come to this website. Here we need to select which build tool we need to use. Here I am using Maven. Maven is the commonly used build tool across various organizations and all. So I prefer Maven. We can select Java, and then Spring Boot. I'm selecting 3.2.7, and group as complete example. Group is nothing but the common how to it will the package name. It is called package name. Artifact is the like name of the project we are going to do. Generally when we are working with the industry thing or all, they will keep the company's organization's name as artifact, because it will be the output, or it will be the generated it will generate the jar file after creating of this Spring Boot application. Jar is nothing but Java archive, which is the output of which contains all the classes groups, all the classes and every some all the dependencies, everything group of those things. So that is the output of the Spring Boot application. So we can if you want the so for our here I have given as user demo, so the output jar will be user demo.jar. So this is the name, and then this is the description. You can give any description, and this is the package name com.example.user demo. So here I am selecting packaging as jar, and Java as 17, and 17, and dependencies I am selecting as Spring Web, because we are just creating a simple RESTful application, right? So we can I'm selecting the Spring Web, and I can click on when we click on generate, we can generate this downloads folder. Here I already created the I already extracted the user demo zip file. Here this is the after extracting we'll get like this. So we need to import this. How can we can import this? We can go to file and import and existing Maven project, and we can click on next, and we can browse the location where we are storing it, and we can select user demo select folder. Then we can click on next, and we can finish. I have already selected the same folder, so I will demonstrate with that. So now we need to know like how to create REST API. So there are three things we need to consider here. I will follow the steps written here. So we have generated new Spring Initializer, we have generated new Spring Boot project. This is done. We need to include dependencies for Spring Web. We have selected the dependencies, and we need to create a model class. Model class is the structure of the JSON structure of the request. Like here we have the body. Let me show you that thing now. So post. So this is the structure of the this is the body of the API, body of the request. So these are the ID, name, and email. These are the fields. So in order to send these type of fields, we need to group these fields into a one model. We group this thing as a class, so we can call it as a model. So we can say that we can have just a second. We can have model, controller, and service. Yeah, model is nothing but like what is our for a request structure or object structure we are sending to the server. Yeah, request service in a service. For example, in this thing we are using user as a model, and user controller. Controller is nothing but we have the endpoints here, and whenever we click here, whenever we click this request APIs, generally our port will be running on 8081. Because my 8080 port is already occupied some other location, so I'm just using 8081 port here. And API/users, we need to specify the resource properly. So we need to specify the controller name and the request mapping of the controller clearly, so that the request matches that go to that controller. The entry point of the request is the controller. In the resource, entry point of the request is the controller. So whenever we need to create a request of this type, API slash users, the control comes over there, and then it will fetch the required result over there, and it will send it to the date. It will send it to the as send it as a response as a JSON structure. So we'll create it and know like how to create those things and all. So for now we need to create three things: model, controller, and service classes, user service. So first let's create a model class, and then we will create a controller class. And the service classes, we don't need to write, like some guys used to write all the service business logic in the controller. So that's not the right way. We need to create a service class, and we need to write those things in service, because controller is just we need to use the object of the service class, and we need to call the method, and we need to do the process only, not the entire business logic we need to write in the user controller. So we don't need to do that. We don't need to do that, and we should not do that. So yeah, let's create, like I already create, like every time if you create any things, or like the good practice of development principles or development practices are like we need to create the packages properly, whether it is a model, service, controller, like anything, like we need to group the things properly, so that you can it's not like you are only working on the project, right? Like many people are working in the same project, like they need to understand like what you guys what you have written or what you have coded. They need to understand the flow. If you properly group the things like in packages, so everyone will understand like these things are like controller model classes are in model, or services classes are in service package, and controller packages are in control package. So this, like they can know that. So now let me create a model. I will create a user model. Yeah, here we got that. Private, I will match this ID in email. Okay, private long ID, I will take it. Private string name, string email. You need to create a generator getter sensitive. For generating getter sensitive, right click, source, generate getter sensitive, select all, generate. You also need to generate what do you say, to string method. Right click, source, generate to string. Yeah, already selected, generate. So here our user class is done. So we are matching this structure of the JSON. Yeah, and then we can create a demo. Let me create the service class first. User service, and the package already specified. If you have not created package yet, like you can group it here by creating dot service. Yeah, let me write the code for the service class. So here I'm not dealing with any databases or something. I'll just create a list for beginners so can understand easily by just creating a list. Just import a list first. Import java.tool.list. I will create a list for private list user. user. To create get all users method. And to return the already generated users here. Yeah, here we have generated get all of the users, and we need to generate a method called we need to get all users, like when we give an slash users, right, we need to get all the users who have been created so far. So we need to return this users object. So we are demonstrating right clicking get user by id of take long id. For user, need to traverse through the users who are all present here, and if users dot get id, sorry, if user dot get id matches with the equals of id in the here, then we need to return that user, else we will return null. And then we can create by id is done, all users done. We need to update now. We need to create a user now. For that, private user create user, we'll pass this in the requested user. So we need to add this user in the request. Yeah, that is fine. So return that user added, then create new user is done. And here we write private user update user. So that was writing user update user. We'll get that user details from the thing, right? So we need to update those. So we'll take the same from for loop for users that's the thing to update id, right? So user dot set name of user details user details dot get new. Same thing we need to follow for dot set email. User details dot get email. So we'll return that. Otherwise return as data. No. And then we have one method left over. So update user is there, and we have to delete the user. Private user. Just to take ID of the user, and we have to delete it, delete here, delete him. User, users, user dot get ID. It is equal to the ID passed by the user. We need to remove from that remove of ID. Equals of this ID. Need to remove the user at the index I. So for our list we use the method called size. We need to return user return with some width so the service layer is done. Save it. created the user controller class, and then here I define the controller as Spring annotation as REST controller. Control shift flow for importing that, and then we need to use the request mapping. Request mapping of /API /users. Control shift flow for that. Then we need to auto wire user service class because we need that service user service class. Auto wire it. Service class to make it as service. Yeah, here we have defined it as user service class, and we need to write the controller methods for how to get the users or something on the API request, like rate and public list user get all users to return user service dot public list. Okay, we need to import list first. I'll create all the things as public. Save it. Yeah, this is get mapping. Path variables like long id, and to give the to get by id, right, and to give request mapping, you can give as get mapping. Get mapping of slash id, which will get the value from the request as id. Let me put it, I already imported it. So we need to return user service dot get user by id. We need to pass this id. Get mapping is done. We need to create user, public user, create user, user details to get from, we will treat it as a post method, so we have to use post mapping. So we have to create return user service dot create user post details. Yeah, post that. Post mapping is done. So we need to update user now. Public user, update user. We need to take a long id from the user. Here we are using request body, right? So we need to use request body, right? Because we are getting the object from the request. Yeah, this is the path variable. In the path variable here. And we also need to get the request body from the user of type user. We need to specify the return user service start taking details. To get it as a put mapping, so because it is put request, we are updating the user put slash user to delete user, right? Delete user to get the path variable is fine. Path variable long id return user service dot delete user of long id. Delete mapping, specify the id here. This flower brackets make that this path of the request contains the value. That's it. We have created the endpoints for all of that. Get mapping, boot mapping, post mapping, get mapping. This is our get method. This is post method. We are creating create user, and then create user, and then update user, and then delete user. And we have the service class for update user request. Yeah, it is fine. So everything is fine now. So now just let me see all of the things and learn it. So for running our Spring Boot application, I will run it as a maven build. So the command is like a clean Spring Boot run. I'll skip test for now and apply run and save all of the things which are not yet saved. Started. So application started and will got success. So let me go with the our local host. 081 is the port, API slash user slash 1, which specifies the controller. So if you want to get all users first, this is the common API request, and if you want to get all users, here we don't have any annotation, right? Like with that API slash users we can get all the users. As of now we have not created any users, so it is showing null. For now let me just create a user. I'll take ID as 1, name as Yoganam, email as ye@gmail.com. So let me just create it now. So endpoint for the post method also it is same. So you can see that post method we don't have. This is the common endpoint for the post method, because the post method is different, right? So it will just take it. So it returns like one Yoganam divided. So it is created. So we can check it whether it is created or not. Good that, and ID of that request is 1. So we can get users by ID, or we can just get all users who are present. So you can get the ID is 1 and the name, email, and the users there. So if you want to get the users by ID, so let me just give it by ID. So users slash 1, the request, it will this is the path variable, path param. It will take the 1 and it will search in the controller. This is the endpoint. It will check, it will match the API slash users here, and it will check for the method, controller method, which take the 1 as a parameter, and for the get method. So it will search around here, like which take that get and the ID. So it matches with this method get mapping, and we have the ID path variable, so it will come into this method, and it will parse this, it will take this long ID from the request and return user services get user by ID. So it will call the user service layer, and it will call the get user by ID method long ID. For user it will run, like we have many users, right? In that list we will traverse that list, and if is user dot get ID, and in this list dot get ID and the dot equals of this ID passed by the passed in the request, then we need to return that user. Okay, so like this this method will work. So post we have done it, and get by ID we have done it. So if you wanna update that user, suppose you wanna change the ye.email.com to yy.email or something, we can update this email ID, and we need to specify the ID here which you wanna update, and we can send it. So it is updated. See before it was like ye.email.com, now it was updated to yy@gmail.com. So now we can fetch that user ID as well. So now get yy.gmail.com. Now we need to delete the user. We can do that. Suppose if I want to delete the user by ID which is 1, then click on delete, and then user with ID 1. Let me give some space over there. Now I think it works. These are not found because we just restarted the application, right? Let me just create. Okay, get the user y@gmail.com, or delete that user with ID 1 is deleted. So this is how we can create, read and update, and we can do CRUD adaptation with that API using Spring Boot in Java. So these are the methods. So every time we call the request here, the request will come over to the controller, and then it will come out to the controller here, and it will check for the method. We'll check for the method if here we have written API slash users, right? And we'll check for the method here, user service, and it will create an auto void, like it will create a Spring Bean for us. It will create a object for us. So we can check out like what is dependency, what is auto void, and our concept, like what is a Spring IOC container in the YouTube, and we can know that. Like it will create, but we don't need to create any objects, and we need to take care of the object, but Spring itself will take care of the object by using this auto void annotation. And we need to know that, like if you are using this class user service as auto void, we also need to annotate that user service class as service annotation. These are all Spring concepts. We need to know that. Yeah, in upcoming lectures and all, I will discuss like how to what are the annotations, like what are all the things you need to do, and will come with some advanced Spring Boot concepts and all. Yeah, will come with that as well. For now, yeah, we have created. So let me check out the agenda whether we have created everything or not. So, so we have defined a simple post request to represent our data. I have created a model, that model class and the controller class, and we have created REST endpoints in the controller class, and then we have run the application and start the Spring Boot application, and we have tested the API using Postman to send request over and the endpoints. We have sent a request. We have sent request over endpoints, so everything is working fine. Yeah. So if any doubts or like any clarification, please comment and say the things. Yeah. Thank you. Thank you so much. Thank you guys.